All right. I'm Jen Valverde, and I am on the AWS Marketplace team. I lead the Marketplace development team for the Americas region. I've been on the team for 5.5 years now, and I've been working with mostly partners throughout the years. And I'm here to talk to you today about what I've learned over the last 5.5 years on how to be successful within the platform, how to use Supercharge what you're doing in Marketplace in order to amplify your business. So digital transformation is continuous innovation, and it takes the entire organization to do that. I see a lot of sellers come to me and say, we're going to put a marketing campaign together and we're going to sell through Marketplace. And they don't take into account every other thing that they need the organization to come through with. So by show of hands quickly, who in this room, in this audience, is in partnerships? It's a good majority there. Okay, in partnerships, do you understand if you don't get product on board, what's going to happen? Nothing, right? If you don't get sales on board, what's going to happen? Nothing. Sorry, there's a little feedback here. So I really like to send the message that if you're going to take this journey on Marketplace, you need your entire organization on board. And that's the conversation that you need to have with your C-suite and your partners and counterparts in other organizations. Over the years, we've created what it takes to be successful in Marketplace. We call it characteristics of a successful seller. And they're really pillars that we know you can't skip. You have to do each one of these in order to be successful on our platform. And so it starts with AWS Marketplace selection. Are you building a product that resonates with the buyer? And are you building something that's easy to use and deploy in an AWS environment? Are you committed to actually driving revenue through the platform? This is more of the sales side of things and executive commitment. Are you aligned in your sellers, right? Do they know that you have a Marketplace listing? Are they able and enabled to sell through the platform? Is your team enabled? And I'm not just talking sellers, is sales ops, finance. We'll dive into this a little bit more as the presentation goes on. And then operational excellence and partner programs. Those are the backbone. Have you put the process in place that it's going to take to be successful? So I'm going to start with number one, selection matters. We have 5,000 sellers on AWS Marketplace and 20,000 listings. The product that you list on Marketplace and how it's delivered matters a lot. And what you need to really focus on is how are you making the buyer experience better? The worst is when you put a product up there, it's hard to understand, nobody knows how to use it, nobody even knows that it's there. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to streamline the buyer's journey. So we're looking at identification. We have SEO enhancements. How are you driving traffic to your listing? Do you have a free trial? Are you making it easy for them to demo, take a look at your product? Can they request a demo right through the platform? Vendor insights. Are you giving them enough information about your company, about your product to know that you are compliant in the way that they need you to be? Are you providing that information through the tools that we're giving you? Standard contract. Are you making it easier to do business with you? Reducing time within legal? And is it easy to launch? Are you quickly able to provide your product to the end buyer? The next one that I'm going to dive a little bit more into is operational excellence. If you're not providing the necessary tools for your organization in order to be operationally excellent, you're missing out on not only an opportunity to make the experience better, but to also make sure that the buying experience is end-to-end. And this is in all parts. As I had said, this is a company-wide transformation. Operationally excellent in a product means that you are able to recognize revenue. Are you able to meter through the product? Partnerships. Do you have processes in place to engage with us and co-sell? through ACE? Are you monitoring and managing those conversations? Sales operations, do you have a deal desk in place that knows how to build a private offer? And can finance actually recognize that revenue once it's paid? Commitment and alignment, that's a big one as well. So the C-suite, your executives need to have a commitment to work with AWS Marketplace in order to be successful. So many times I've gone into meetings where I have heard product has a product listed, alliances has done all the things to build the relationships, and then maybe sales isn't bought in. Or maybe the CFO thinks that our fees are too high. Or maybe it is that they don't really know if they want to go in this direction or not, that cloud marketplaces is just maybe a test to them. And so really having that commitment and that alignment with your executive staff makes a big difference. And that alignment then goes to sales. A little bit of what I was just saying here, identify who should be in the room, that they're actually on board. And then another big piece to that is, how are you measuring it? How are you able to go back at the end of the year and say to your CFO, to your CRO, to your CEO, the metrics that matter to them? What is it that Marketplace is driving for you? Is it expansion? Is it opportunity? Is it better relationships? Tracking them early and often is key in order for you to be able to advocate for resources and for your organization to continue to go down that path. From a sales perspective, we have some compelling numbers here. 81% ROI achieved, 27% higher win rates, 80% richer deal sizes, and 40% faster sales cycles. So what I was just talking about is you should be measuring yourself against these benchmarks. This is what we see in the market with our sellers. And if you're not seeing this type of return on your investment with Marketplace, we need to figure out why. Are we not enabled in the right places? Do we have the operational excellence in the areas that we need them? Do we have the right people on board? So I encourage you all to make sure that you're measuring the partnership and asking the questions of AWS. Come back to us and say, I'm not really actually seeing higher win rates right now. I'm having a problem getting a hold of your sales team. We can help you. But identifying that it's not there and it's not where it needs to be is the first step, so that we know where it is that we can help you. Enablement. This sounds like a really broad one, and what I tend to see in sellers is that they enable their team once, and then they think they're good to go. Enablement is really an ongoing effort with your teams. It is quarterly, monthly. You have turnover, and we need to see it as part of your onboarding program. The wins, and as we progress in the platform, need to be enabled throughout your entire organization. And that goes far beyond sales. That is your channel account managers and your channel team. That's your finance team, your sales teams as well. And it's continuous, so that we can continue to make progress here. So digital transformation is an overarching and ongoing activity, not just a project. That's what I'd like everybody here to take away from the presentation today. Successful organizations invest broadly across their entire organization to make this successful. Some of the best practices that we see is in enablement is inspecting. Where is enablement working? Where do you still need help? Kind of go think back to that slide that we had the metrics on. Identify the one that's not working and start to inspect it. Make sure that you're asking the questions, the team is enabled, and figure out where it is. And then invest in developing. Are you changing the process? Are you creating a product that works well with our platform? And then scale. Are you taking it to the next level? Are you building for one private offer, or are you building for 1,000 private offers? Are you building for one self-service integration with a partner, or are you actually building an entire product-led growth strategy? I think what's really important here is that you continue to do this over and over again. Inspect it, develop it, and then scale it, and start over again. So I'm going to bring it all together, and this is a very busy slide. I don't expect any of you to read anything on here, but it's a mechanism that we use that's ongoing called your cost scorecard. These are the 6 pillars that we had talked about in the beginning that matter. I didn't dive into every single one of them in the details, but what it looks like generally is a workshop. You sit down and you're really honest with yourself. Where am I? Am I green, yellow, or red? What gives some details in there, and then what are the next steps to make progress? I think that we tend to get into this rut sometimes where we look and we say, wow, this is a little bit overwhelming. There's no way I'm going to be able to get sales alignment until next year when we can change our sales comp structure. But keeping track of the small next steps, the next steps that are both AWS and the next steps that are for you in the partnership in each one of these pillars will help you continually evolve and transform your business with us. So I encourage you, if you have a PDM, to reach out to them, ask them to do a cost workshop, and evaluate where it is that we can do better and move forward. I will warn you, though, almost no one is all green checkboxes, so don't be offended if you feel like you're behind in one of those areas. And last, I want to leave with you, embrace a culture that celebrates experiments and errors. When we go through this process, not everything's going to work. We're going to go through a co-sell initiative, a sales play that maybe doesn't spark like we thought it would, right? You got to keep going. That's the way that we at AWS invest. We work backwards from our customer needs. We try, we invest, we build, and we try again. And that's what we need from our partnership back. The call to action here, I led into it a little bit earlier, but the cost framework is something that you want to look at throughout your organization. We've built it over the last 5 years, and it's what we've used to make other sellers successful on the platform. Work with your PDM to do one of those workshops and review some of the key themes here. There's a link that we can have you download later. And with that, I'm going to close it up. The AWS Marketplace booth is right there, and I'm going to be over there. There's a team of people. I'd love to just have a conversation with you about where you're stuck, where you think we could make progress, maybe how I've seen other sellers be successful in that area. But thank you, everybody.